All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Group Chart Analysis. It is a fresh week, and we are going to kill this shit about time. So, let's take a look at what we're seeing here. Now, remember, it is also NFP week. NFP is on Friday, so there are things where NFP weeks will tend to be A-OK and they'll be normal. Sometimes they'll just be consolidating through the whole week, and then they'll move Friday, and then sometimes it'll move fluently during the week, and then the news will still be crazy as fuck. So we, as a collective, need to see what of those three options this week's going to be. So let's take a look. Let's go to EU. So what happened on EU last week? Oops, clicked the wrong button. God damn. So it continued down. It shot down. We completely reversed hella. Let me actually look at this weekly. What someone actually messaged to me was that it threw weekly sauce. So for those of you that don't see this, remember how on the weekly I was telling you, one, it was going to be possibly a shot up to here to form a head and shoulders. Then the other week I said it was going to continue down when it was in this consolidation. We were right, pull back, did all that stuff. We were all right on that. But we started seeing this thing shoot up, and because of the no trend, there was the possibility that it could have shot up and continued to this recent high from last year. Now, what it did last week is since it dropped, it formed sauce right here on the weekly. Now, when I see that, and that technically tells me that we're going to see a whole nother level drop. And what we're going to be guaranteed to see is a shot down to this low here. So the wick that's at the low, that's going to at least shoot down to there, if not farther. All right. And another reason on top of that as well is if you look at the TDI, it's not oversold yet. All right. Sorry. I got disconnected for a second. We're back. I promise. Can you guys hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. Cool. So another thing on top of that as well, what I said on top of all this is what I'm seeing here is on the weekly, there is no divergence. It's not oversold yet, and it's still below the stationary 50, and you'll see the RSI is actually curving down. So we're going to see this thing completely drop into the oversold zone on the weekly, so expect a lot of drops this week. It's hitting a point of support. So what this could do before it decides to drop, guys, is it can pull back midweek, right? So like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, this thing could rise. And then after that rise, we could see that possible drop. Now, there are multiple places it can go. It can go up to here or within this zone, something like that, within this zone here. Or it could go right here. That's another zone. So essentially, I'm not really seeing anything telling me right now that it's going to pull back. So this could be one of those moves that decides to just straight drop, and all you're going to be doing is catching these pullbacks until it hits this low from August 15th. All right, so that's the 4 hour. 1 hour is not even divergent. It was just overbought or oversold. So what I'm going to say for right now, guys, for tonight, expect another drop. Expect it to drop down here. Now, if it does it early on and it comes down to this low earlier than London session or during London session, there is a possibility that it might not take out this low and it could shoot back up. Hold on. Why can't I? Zach, there you go. Here, it could shoot up, pull back, then continue. Okay, so that is a possibility. So just understand, but for right now, what I see it doing short term is dropping and then possibly pulling back and then continue that drop this week. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to be playing for Sunday. I'll let it drop. I'll make the move. I'll catch the move later. We got a whole week on that. GBP USD is pretty much identical to EU. I don't know if it threw the same thing, but if you guys look at the weeklies here, it actually threw hella wicks. 3 big wicks for over the last 3 weeks, over the last month. And what I believe this thing is going to do on the TDI, which should give you structure for the rest of the week, is drop. All right, so the same thing is going to be happening on GBP. We're going to be looking for a lot of drops this week on GBP. Daily, it took out this low right here. If you guys are noticing this, it took out this low. Didn't quite take out the stationary 50 yet, but I believe it's going to go right through it. Short term, so that's on the daily. So expect it overall to drop. Like I said, 4 hour. It's not even oversold yet. It's not divergent. So what I'm seeing here, normally on this time frame, I would look for something that's a pullback. But if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing here, let's go to the hour. I'll show you what I saw earlier this week, or technically the other day when I was looking at the charts. Is this might actually just be a continued straight drop. It's below the blueberry. It broke it. It retested it. It formed just one little. It didn't even form like the right pattern. I think this thing is going to be a continued drop because I'm not seeing anything that's telling me clear as day that it's not. This right here coming down. You're probably wondering, oh, is this divergent? It's not divergent whatsoever. This point is actually shorter. It's actually farther down in the oversold region than this point. So it's not divergent, leading me to believe continued drop. I think I said on my weekly training, which I have to upload for you guys, the people in my group at least. I believe that it could have started up here, like gapped up and then dropped. But I think you're going to see a continued drop tonight, just a straight drop on GBP USD tonight. So look for that. AU is probably going to be the same shit. AU actually threw on the 4 hour some sauce right here, if you guys see that, right on the water and the catch up for the continued drop. Weekly, it threw like a somewhat of a, that's not even like the right time. I don't even like that kind, but it's going to be continuing down for sure. We're going to be seeing this thing drop down to the recent low. It's not diverging here in the 4 hour. So you guys are looking for continued sells on AU. It might do its move a little early. What is it doing here? Hold on. This isn't right. It's got to load. Come on. There we go. Drop here. This thing just threw like a double top. It's not even a double top, but it threw like a, what's it called? This would be like a super railroad here on the Mayo itself and the water. Then through the railroad right here and the water itself. I believe this is just going to shoot straight down. The 4 hour is pretty clean. If anything, it could push up again for a false move, but I don't really see this thing really dropping down. The worst case scenario that it does do before it decides to take a drop is it comes back up to retest this high and then drops. That's another thing I could possibly see, but like right now, I don't think that's going to be happening. I think it's going to be just dropping overall down to at least this recent low, which is from where it's at right now is 20 pips. So let me see how that goes. Does this one have gold? No. Weekly continued to drop. This thing, even on the weekly looks like it's going to be continuing to drop. Through hit support, but it's below the stationary 50, so I can't look for buys just yet. This is the 26. 1 sec. It's got to load. Come on. Oh, it is up. It is up. Okay. Crazy. Let's see. It formed this high up here. It's still below stationary 50. It's coming back down to retest this low here on the 4 hour. It's got to drop. This thing is just falling. Look for the continued drop on gold, guys. That's it. Recent low. Short amount of pips. Don't go too crazy with like this with Sundays. U Chief. Oh, let me delete this. Holy shit. That's right. Okay, cool. So the weekly here is in a massive consolidation on the stationary 50. So what I'm expecting is this thing to go back to at least this high because of what happened on that reversal. That reversal went all the way up. So the daily, all you're looking for is stop hunts low and buys. To continue with the buys. Continue with this trend. This thing is not stopping. It is divergent. So what I can say here, best case scenario right now, wait for the stop hunt to drop. If it rises up here, those are not your pips. Don't try to guess this shit. If it does stop hunt, if it still goes up, let it drop. Let it pull back. Let it pull back. Let it hit that 1 hour water. You guys could then look for these buying opportunities. Okay, so just don't buy it yet. It has room to drop. Right, so wait for this drop to happen. UCAD. What the? Is that a gap? That's a mean gap. It's a really mean gap. UCAD is like Satan spawn. Look at that week. That wick is disgusting. Right off of it. We had to continue down on the weekly. It looks like it could. It's the gap to the new low. So it's probably going to fill that gap to the upside and then continue to drop. It's like this. Probably fill that gap, which it will. Once it fills the gap, guys, it's going to come straight down. So stop hunt high, drop. Let it reverse. Let it do its thing. UJ, believe we had this thing for continued buys too. Weekly still doing what we said. Took out all these highs last week, and it's still got to go up to retest this one. So continue with the trend on UJ. You're only buying. Anything dropping is a pullback. It's at a high, at a very, very high point right now. So what I'm suggesting in the short term, look for pullbacks. It's probably not going to do big reversals. Your best thing would probably be to wait for this thing to hit the 15-minute water, see what it does. If it consolidates on it, continue to buy. It is divergent here, so just wait for the pullback. See what it looks like on the 15-minute water. If it's below the stationary 50, it's probably going to shoot down towards that Mayo. So, like, really keep your eyes open. It could make the move down to where it's going to pull back to. But let it pull back. If it keeps rising, that's not your pips. That's not guaranteed. You can't tell me 100%. Yeah, it's going to keep rising tonight. Then go ahead, try to buy it right now. If it pulls back, you might go negative and you might sweat a little. Overall, though, I believe this thing is going to keep going up. GJ, same shit. It's not in a trend. It's going to keep going up daily. Hitting a new point on the time frame. I think it's going to go up and hit the daily blueberry. It's forming a bullish wedge right here. And then right here. So it's forming a bullish wedge. It's going to consolidate, and then what it's going to do is it's going to pop off, and you're going to see it retest that high and continue. All right, so let it consolidate still. EA. Weekly, see that evening star, hence why we had it dropping. And it's funny because last week I had a sell in on EA when it was up here. And I took my profit after it started to drop, and it consolidated. I'm thinking I thought I was going to reverse. My original take profit was down at this point right here, right at the bottom of that wick, and it smashed it on the end of Friday. So if I would have held it, it would have been a lot easier. But that's why we have this thing continuing down. I think it's going to continue down another couple days, and then we might see it reverse, but we'll have to see. I believe it's going to hit that daily water, wait for it to hit that daily water, and then we'll see what happens. So this thing still has to drop in between. So expect another drop tonight. All right, expect a drop tonight. On the 1 hour. Here's one. Not the best looking pattern, but I want to see this thing continue to drop. So sell EA tonight. Look for selling opportunities. How many pips is it from this low? 30-something pips. You guys can catch 40 pips off of that. It's easy. GA, probably same shit. Yep. Continue the set with GA. Sell GA. It's going to continue down. Yep. And then G-Chief. Shooting up to retest that trend line it broke. It's hitting it as we speak, so wait for it a little bit more. Ideally, we got a couple scenarios. Come up, drop, all the way back down, or I don't think so. And then, or break it, retest, and then go to the blueberry. So those are the two things we have. for at least tonight or this week. That's this week. Tonight, what it could do. Yeah, just wait. It's divergent on the hour, but that's because it's in like a good trend. By the it was literally right there. I didn't take it. It was there. I saw it. You're either gonna watch this thing either go up and break this high, or it's gonna hit this high, test off it, and then drop. So pretty much what I'm saying is don't touch G Chief tonight. We'll play it tomorrow, whenever it pops up. So anybody got any questions? This week's going to be pretty interesting. There should be a lot of movement this week because of all the things that happened at the end of last week. So we should catch some good pips. And for those of you that are in my group, I'm actually uploading the video right now. I think it's done. Almost done. So I'll upload that to you guys as soon as it's done. And same thing with the group chart analysis. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Be safe in the markets. Let them do its thing. And let's rock the fuck out. Everyone have a good night. Peace.